Hi, I'm Richard Carnell. Today I'm going to do a quick talk on cushion inners. I commonly get asked the question of how to maintain them and how to fix this. So I'm going to touch on a few areas in this demonstration of airing and sunning them, taking them in and out, and also the benefits of vacuuming your sofa. Quite often I recommend people do this every time they vacuum their house, is to give their sofa a quick vacuum as well. It minimises the dust collating in the fibres and compounding and building up. It's a great way to keep your sofa looking great for a lot longer period of time. I also recommend using the curtain head or the smaller head of your vacuum, and just make sure you get the major areas you sit on, and then when you do a thorough clean, pull all the cushions out, rotate them and turn them around. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is dismantle the seat cushion. I'll demonstrate that now. It requires a little bit of strength, and get yourself set up with a nice table at a nice height. And I'll show you how to do it. So quite often they're in quite tight, the seat cushions, so you actually have to bend the whole casing. So once you bend the casing, you just grab a corner and you feed one side out, then you switch over to the next side and you feed that out as well. Once you get that out, you'll find the casing slips off quite easy. Just be sure not to put too much stress on any of the zips. There'll be a few feathers flying around, but don't worry about that. Now, once you've got your cushion in or out, this is the part that you really want to maintain. So there's a few things we need to do. We need to pluff the cushion, and we need to dismantle it even further, because quite often you'll have a feather wrap around a foam insert. So I'll take the foam insert out first, and I'll show you where that is there. That's just at the back. You'll see that you have another sandwich of a foam insert inside a doona wrap. So the same technique again. If you bend it, and it gets a bit sticky with foam, but if you bend it and just work it out sort of side by side, that's probably the best way to do it. So as you work its way out, you'll notice that it gets a little bit sticky as it comes through, but you surely get to the very, very end there, and at this point we have a fully dismantled seat cushion. We can now go on to airing it and sunning it. Before we do that, the feathers are the most important thing to take control of or manipulate first. You need to break the feathers apart in the fibre, so when we hang it out on the clothesline in the sun, it all dries evenly and there's no sort of clumps in there. Alright, we'll head off to the clothesline and dry them out. Okay, we're up hanging out the cushion casing now, and the main one, the feathers, to hang on the washing line. The best days for this are northerly winds. They tend to be the driest and dried out the best. I also try to hang it out with the opening open. So I'll go ahead and just show you quickly how I hang it out. They're quite heavy, so make sure you actually have plenty of pegs to peg them up with. And as I said, try to peg that opening open. I think you get a lot better benefit in drying the whole cushion out, especially all the feathers. And we'll show you in a minute inside there how I do that. Secondly, I'd like to get you to dry your foam out as well, because the foam does absorb some moisture as well, and it's definitely worthwhile putting that out on the balcony. So I generally just put it on the balcony and let it dry flat, and then I'll turn it over and let the other side dry in an hour or two. Okay, now that we've dried it all out, sunned it all up, and got the loft back in our cushions, it's a matter of reconstructing the cushion. Takes a little bit of time and effort and a bit of elbow grease, but I'll show you how to do it. So the first thing is to put the foam inside the feather casing. So you do need to bend this casing. I'll turn the cushion around so you can see. It requires trying to get as much in a bent format as you can at the start. So once you got, 3/4 of it in, it's then just a matter of getting your arm in and trying to manipulate the foam. Now the foam and the cotton Japara lining can be a bit sticky, so just requires a little bit of patience and effort, and just moving it bit by bit, side to side, until you've got it sitting in there in a nice flush finish. So you'll have to roll it over a number of times. It takes a fair bit of effort, but it's definitely worthwhile. You also notice that the actual foam inner normally sits about 5 to 10 centimetres outside the casing, so the reason for that is to make sure that the foam stays nice and tight inside the casing won't move. So we're almost there. Just one last little manipulation of the casing. Make sure it's all flat, and we'll be right to zip it up. Okay, you'll see here that the foam sticks out a little bit near the zipping in it. Just give it a squeeze in with your hands and just squeeze it in as you go down. You don't need to worry that that bulks out at the back there. That's there on purpose. So now we've got the cushion inner all zipped up and constructed. It's a matter of folding it in half again and inserting it into the cushion casing. Now, just be aware, make sure the back of the zip on the cushion inner matches the back of the zip on the cushion casing. So once you got that, it needs a bit of strength. You fold it up and insert as much as you can into the casing. Then you can release it and pull the back over. So it's a bit like a taco shell. You just need to keep folding it in to get as much in as you possibly can before you can start manipulating it with your hands inside. Okay. Don't worry too much about the bend in the cushion. This is normal until we can start feeding our hands. Now, it's important to hold the casing and feed your hands to the very far corner. So don't be scared to give it a real good push, and keep turning it over and over until you're happy with the end result being in nice and flush. Once you're happy with your end finish and it looks brand new, it's a matter of, again, zipping together the outer casing and squashing it down as you zip through. And it's just a matter of being patient when you do this. It's right to the end. Okay, that's all finished, that cushion. Ready for a vacuum and the next one to do.